Sure. Hello, I'm Mada, and I apologize, my back is slightly hurting. Can you guys hear me? Okay. No. My mic, okay, it's working now. Yay. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to be here with you guys today. My company is called Branch, and we are a mobile linking and attribution solution. So we are about 4 years old. We raised over 200 million, which we don't celebrate fundraising. This is literally giving a piece of your company away. But I guess you need it to grow, so we're all here to talk about growth. We have 8 official offices and a few other that are 1 or 2 people. We have about 240 employees, and I will tell you, for those of you who are trying to grow your companies, it's very hard. I would say the bane of my existence has been hiring this many people. It's very hard to grow from like 0 to 240 in 4 years, and I would say the hardest is to find people. And we have about 40,000 apps using us today, and these are some of the ones, like New York Times, Yelp, Starbucks, HBO, and many, many others. So let me give you a little bit of context about Branch, how we got started, and why this is a problem in the market. So if you think about where Branch came from, we actually started, Branch was our 4th idea. So we started trying to do something like Fitbit for dogs. I know, very different than deep linking. And then we decided that that wasn't working, and then we actually built an app. It was called Kindred, and it was a photo book printing app, and I was running marketing for that as well. And I was trying to promote the app, and I was trying to understand how can I get users to my app, and as I get these users, how do I know where they're coming? And the problem is the real world is pretty messy. On the web, things were pretty simple. You just clicked on a link and you went to a website and it was all great. The problem is when you have multiple platforms, it becomes a lot harder. So right now, if you think about where your users could come from, they could come from different OSs, right? They could be on Apple, iOS, they could be on desktop, be on Android, they could even get your content in the Fire or watchOS or many other ways. And then they could be on many different types of devices. They could be on millions of, they could be on either an iPad or a phone or like an actual iPhone or on one of the many types of Androids. They could actually get your content if you have a watch app. They could even get your content in your car. And then it comes to platforms, right? It could be they come from one browser or a different browser. And all of that journey that the user has can be very complicated. So if you don't actually take them to the right content, you are leaving a lot of money and potential engagement on the table. So from email, if, for example, someone clicks on an email, you have a promotion, and then actually don't get your content. You're trying to get them to the app, but the app doesn't load, and there's an error. I'm sure all of you have experienced something like that before. Or on the web, if they come on a website and you're actually trying to take them to an app and it doesn't actually work, or if the purchasing doesn't work in the app itself, you're actually leaving a lot of potential users on the table. And then from ads and attribution, if you're misattributing your actual installs, and someone is coming from an organic channel, or even from a paid channel, you think they're coming from organic, you might not understand how you're spending your money and how that works. So you might be investing in the wrong channels. So when it comes to apps and the web, apps are a really critical part of the mobile ecosystem. So if you're thinking, oh, apps are complicated, it's hard to get users at all these platforms, I'm just going to stick with the web. Well, the problem with just sticking with the web is that people actually do engage much better in apps. Mobile app users spend 20 times more than how much they spend on the web. They convert 3 times better. And mobile apps in general drive more than half the e-commerce transactions today. So, the web is easy to get users and to measure them. Apps are complicated, but apps have a lot better ROI. So what's the solution? The solution is to actually bring them all together. In many ways, it's actually easier and cheaper to actually acquire users on the web and then convert them into the app. And that's what Branch actually does. Branch is a linking platform that actually bridges the web and app gap, and it gives you one link that regardless of the channel that you come from, it always takes people to the right content. So we detect if the user has the app or not installed, and regardless, you can choose where to take them. Maybe you're doing a really interesting campaign where you're trying to get all your users to download the app. You can set those links to take people, if they don't have the app, to the App Store to download it, and then you can take them to the content that you're promoting. We had this great example of Jet.com. This is before Walmart acquired them. They were amazing at SEO, right? They got tons of users on their mobile website. But they saw that people were engaging much better in apps. So they did this amazing campaign where they actually showed, they gave their users on those SEO pages 30% off, but only if they downloaded the app. And they saw their organic traffic actually tripled because people went and they said, oh, 30%, I'm going to go and download the app. And then they all downloaded the app, and then they could engage them and re-engage them better because now they had the app. But they use those links to only give the people who are coming from organic that particular incentive. In other cases, you might want to actually take them to the mobile website if they don't have the app, and you can set that up with us as well. And then we give you measurement across web and app of how people come to your products and how they convert. So we're a cross-platform solution that basically gives linking attribution, and we give you something that's called a persona graph. So I think one of the most important things as you're starting to grow a mobile business today is to actually understand that the user journey is no longer as simple as it used to be. You can't just acquire a user and then they come and then they buy something. Usually, the journey is a lot more complicated. They might come and see an ad in a different app, and then they might go and visit your website, and then they might download your app. How can you actually track that journey across web, app, and also multiple devices and platforms? So we help you with that with something that we call a persona graph, where we actually pull data from all the different apps that use Branch to actually understand who our user is in different browsers and in browsers and apps, to actually help you understand that this is a user that visited your app on the Safari browser and then downloaded your app and then visited your app again in the Safari browser. And so you can actually say, OK, they came and they looked at that one particular pair of shoes in one app, and then later, when they opened the app, for example, you can show them the same pair of shoes that maybe they were looking for on the website. So that's Branch. I guess this is a growth stage. So what are some things that helped us grow? I think when it comes down to what has helped us grow the most and how we thought about growing our product, it really came from a problem that we had ourselves, right? We were the app developers, and we were really struggling to understand what our users came from and customize the first-time experience. And as we grew, and as we started thinking what should be the next products that we built, and one of our best-selling products is actually this Journeys product, this idea that you can create banners on the website that take people into the app. The way we came up with that idea was actually we started seeing people actually create these banners, and they were using Branch links behind them. So we're like, wow, look at all these people using Branch in this particular way. Maybe we should create a product around it, similar to our email product. So instead of sitting in a room and coming up with ideas, we actually looked at data and saw how our users were already using our product and just made it simpler for them to do it and charging money for it. So that was kind of one of our most interesting product strategies to grow. So I guess to end, one advice I have, if you think of your own growth, is to experiment and never stop experimenting. I just did a talk on Startup University, and I think as companies grow, you see that they start experimenting less. So the more you become closer to the growth stage, that experimentation that you were doing when you were younger as a company, you stop doing it. Don't. Continue to experiment. Continue to use measurement and data to see what works and what doesn't. But make sure that a portion of your budget, both your product budget and your marketing budget, is used on new experiments. That's the only way you can actually kind of keep one step ahead the competition and make sure that you don't that you don't stall and you keep growing. So thank you, and I hope you learned something interesting today.